There we are.
And
Wow.
like British Rail, we almost ran to time.
We were almost there. If we were Japanese, of course, it would have been absolutely perfect, but we're not. And there we are. Hey, you got your sunglasses on?
Outrageous behaviour.
Come on, tell the story. Come on, tell the story.
I'm
You can.
embarrassed.
No. You've got to tell the story.
It's outrageous.
Well, we like that. That's a good thing.
Can we just start off, by the way? Sorry, this isn't going to be much use to anyone who's trying to watch on Twitter and can't, but I'm afraid that the rules have changed again, and it means that if we are going to broadcast on Twitter, we need a premium account. We're not paying Elon Musk. We don't have a premium account. You'd have to watch it on YouTube. Sorry. Anyway,
it is a real blow because it has affected the numbers without a doubt, and also because I have to tell you that Facebook have changed yet again the freaking algorithms, and so it's not going to the espresso bar.
Yeah,
it's not. I've got over 1,000 people on my espresso bar, about 1,100 people, and it's not going to it. And I have no idea how to reconnect it. Phil's busy, so he can't help at the moment. So it is a real nuisance when little outfits like us, doing our best, get thumped by major multi-billion corporations for no other reason that they can thump us. It's a real bore. And
the word greed comes to mind.
Well, anyway. I know. I looked at the Twitter thing and I thought, well, I don't want to. I can't really pay all this. You know, we don't ask anyone who's watching to subscribe. There's no fee, unlike the BBC or something. So, yeah. YouTube is that's it. We've got to drive everybody to YouTube, which is okay, but it's not what I wanted when we set this up. You know, Phil, as always, is so helpful, as is Neil, and it's a real slap in the face, to be honest. It's an absolute slap in the face.
They are a bunch of swines. Now, okay, so if I have to recall sunglasses anecdote from this morning.
Go on then. Come on. Yes, you can. You can do this. You can do this. You got it.
Okay, it's, I would say, terribly simple, but it's not really. The truth is that I had a bit of what Mum might describe as a senior moment today.
Excellent. He's 12 years old, ladies and gentlemen, but he had a senior moment.
Anyway, sitting on the train before, sun beaming in through the windows. This was the overground, by the way. It wasn't the underground, obviously.
Were you wobbling free?
I was, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
As I was sitting there quite content, thinking, cool, this is quite sunny, and maybe I should put on my sunglasses because, you know, you don't want the glare or anything.
Of course,
like
yeah. Anyway, in case you were recognised as well.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Why have I got?
You can't take these things.
I've also got no volume today.
You've got no volume.
Not really.
What, in your hair?
No, I got volume in my hair. I just put a lot of water on it and
I see.
greased it back. Couldn't be bothered.
Well, no, I mean, I can try and turn this. Am I a bit quiet? Is that the problem?
No, it's me. I can't hear. I've got it. I don't know who the hell knows.
No,
anyway,
it's not you. It's me. Anyway, so as I was sitting there, sort of on at the carriage, and just thinking, okay, we've got to put sunglasses on. Went to go and take my case out of my inside pocket, and to my horror, my glasses weren't there. I just thought, oh my god! I won't say what I thought, but I was panicking. Thought,
did you go? Oh, blow!
These are not cheap sunglasses. I'm a bit worried. Like, what have I done with them?
Poundland is, you know, not always got it in stock again.
And the only reason that I had established where my glasses were is when I went to go and sort of do a sort of slap my head gesture, injuring the bridge of my nose as my sunglasses, which I was already wearing, had dug into the bridge of my nose. And that's when I realized that, I was already wearing them all along. So, yeah, not completely ideal.
Yeah. So just to recap on this, you were already wearing your sunglasses, thinking,
basically,
sunglasses on.
Yes.
And they let you be in charge of an enormous multi-billion-pound radio station. Not this. This is worth three and something.
I can only say that I might have had a moment, and I can only humbly apologise to anyone.
They've set the bar low, haven't they? I'll be honest with you.
Anyone who has to trust me. Yeah, sorry.
Here's a little something that you won't know. You know your colleague, Christo, who's I
do, yes.
Christo, I've been on his show a few times. I like Christo. He's okay. Nice guy. You know the classic photo of that buffoon Ed Miliband eating a huge sandwich?
Yes.
Right?
A kosher sandwich.
A big... Yeah. Right. It's a classic photo because he looks deranged eating this sandwich. I'm sure if you know it,
I think that's his natural demeanor. But yes.
Well, he does look like a God Almighty. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that route. That picture. Do you know where it was taken? No. Christo's father.
Kosher Kingdom.
No, not Kosher Kingdom. Nor Krasinski's.
Oh.
Nor Fortnum and Mason. Christo's dad has a cafe. It was taken in Christo's dad's cafe.
Oh,
Christo's dad served him the sandwich.
Well, look at that.
That's hilarious. I think that's absolutely hilarious.
How annoyed would you be there if you didn't have any branding on display?
Oh, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah, you see?
I'd be really pissed off. Yeah, I know. Now, I've made a heinous error. I know. I am wearing a checked shirt, which looks terrible on camera. I can't help it because I've got to go somewhere after. Well, I've got this, then I've got to record the podcast. Then I have to go somewhere, and I have to look vaguely smart. Vaguely is the operative term here.
It's fine. It just reflects our working life. Both of us are suffering small checks.
Hey!
Available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, and funerals.
Well, yeah, I've got two funerals.
Russell.
It is. I've got two funerals on at the moment, and I just had an interview. I was interviewed
on at the moment. What are they ongoing? What do you mean?
Well, I'm working on preparing two funerals at the moment as a
right.
celebrant. One next week, 1 week after, and also a memorial service. I've just at 11:30 had a telephone interview to see if I'm suitable for a memorial service. So we shall see what we shall see. So yeah, that's kind of it's nice when it ramps up, and very satisfying, very satisfying. Have you been following? Because I don't do British politics. Well, first of all, Leeds. Unbelievable.
Started on Leeds.
Let me ask you this. And I've never, and Phil doesn't know we're going with this because we don't speak to each other. We don't really like each other.
No, it's fine. I let him take the leads.
Here's the, and then Ebony follows. Yay! How do we get to a state where the police are quite clearly either under orders or terrified not to step in while police cars are being burnt, buses are being burnt, police cars how is this possible?
Well, I mean, I believe that there are a few factors where, you see, this is actually symptomatic of most of what's wrong with today's day and age, is that there are so many factors at play that ultimately lead to the demise of some sort of strain of life that we've become accustomed to, that unfortunately just sees that everything goes to pot. I would say with regards to Leeds and the police, I think it's actually revoltingly simple. I think systematically what has happened over the years is that the police have had resources stripped from them. They've had funding withdrawn. They have been told that officers are going to have to stay behind, do some paperwork rather than actually go out on the beat, because heaven forfend that there should be a legal case that they have to come up against, and they must have the paperwork to prove it. They have also been told that they mustn't use tasers in case they accidentally kill a suspect. They have also been told that they can't use tear gas and stuff like that because it's against someone's human rights. Water cannons were banned. Systematically,
water cannons were sold by Boris Johnson. He sold them back.
Systematically destroying resources for the police, and now we're surprised the police can't do their jobs properly. It's very simple. The police need to grow a backbone. They need to turn around and they need to say, sod human rights. What we're actually more interested in is maintaining the law and protecting the public from these reprobates, absolute reprobates, disgusting
behavior.
Human beings. All right, they're not human as far as I'm concerned. They're subhuman. They're vile.
You can't. No, Phil. Let's just be careful with our language. It's not that I don't share your sentiment. We cannot. They are human.
They don't behave like it.
They behave.
Well,
like
if they do, they behave like some sort of feral.
Yes,
creatures.
Feral and barbaric. That's one thing, but they are human. They are human.
Anyway, whatever. I mean, I don't personally see it as that because I can't really sort of respect anyone who behaves in that way. However,
I don't respect them. I don't respect them. I don't like them. But it's not, you can't say they're not human.
Well, they don't behave like
much as I don't like them.
But anyway, missing the point here, right? So regardless of what our personal feelings are towards these individuals, these cretins, as far as I'm concerned, the police, it can't be a surprise that the police are the way they are, because they've been told, if you so much as tap someone on the shoulder, you could be done for GBH. Why are we prosecuting police? It should be based on a case-by-case basis. We should hold the police in sort of some slightly different regard, where we're saying they are the law enforcers, and if they're not going to enforce the law, what's the point of them?
Here's the thing. Graham Pack, for once, being sensible, not with his silly gags, hold up a Hamas a terrorist sign and you get arrested. Let me tell you what I think. I'm going to bounce this off you. And I've been saying this for, I think, at least a year, possibly 2 years. And I'm sick of saying the same thing. Nature abhors a vacuum. Hates it. If the police, for whatever reason, are unable, are hampered, are hamstringed, or refuse to do their job, then people will step in to do that job for them. And that is called anarchy. That leads to civil war. That is not something we want to see on these shores. I'm not saying in some instances that the public feel it won't be justified. I'm not saying there won't be a huge amount of sympathy if barbaric perpetrators of violence get a taste of their own medicine. But that's not the way, that's not the rule of law. That's not what the United Kingdom is based on. But somebody needs to take a grip. Furthermore, I was watching till 2 o'clock. I watched the Republican convention. I find it absolutely fascinating. I am fascinated with American politics. I'm not really interested in British politics because they suck. American politics are just extraordinary.
It's certainly never a dull moment.
No, I said last week on the show, I said on one of the shows, the only way they can get rid of Biden is by suddenly he's going to be ill. And then they've got an excuse for him to step down. Suddenly this week, he's ill. What a surprise. I've been saying this for weeks. It's the only way he can go. It is the only way. Or even his most staunch supporters, puppet master Obama and the ghastly Nancy Pelosi, are there saying, you got to go. You're going to get slaughtered come November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th. But here's what I think. And then I'm going to leave it to you, Phil, because I'd like to bounce this off you. When the assassination attempt last Saturday was taken on Donald Trump, and we can talk about that in a minute, right? You didn't see cities being burnt. You didn't see revenge. You didn't see marches. You didn't see rioting. You didn't see looting. You saw nothing. If Trump wins on Tuesday, November the 5th, the American election, if he wins, the left will go insane. They will burn America to the ground. What's going to happen? The cities will explode because they can't take defeat. That's the difference. Try to assassinate somebody, no rioting. Yeah.
The only thing I would say, though, is that let's not forget what happened with Capitol riots. But yes, don't get me wrong. I agree. It would appear as though that there is certainly one side more than the other that has a bad time accepting defeat, shall we say.
But they won't. And it's a revolting mixture. Let's just read this. Would you read this coming in from New York, from Asa?
Absolutely. Asa says, in the States and Canada, there have been a number of factors that have limited or restricted the abilities of the police. The most limiting factor has been George Floyd and other such events. At the end of the day, it's the political atmosphere. Well, it may well be, but it doesn't mean it's right. It's unbelievable.
George Floyd, career was a criminal, world's better off without him, and that gives rise to Black Lives Matter, a Marxist criminal endeavor. Absolutely full of crooks. Full of crooks. And it even came to here in Bristol, where the woman who was behind all the statues being toppled into the river and all of that stuff walked away, pocketed 40 grand. What did she get? Suspended sentence. Unbelievable. She stole 40 grand out of your money. How dumb are you? Anyway, that's my view. That's what's going to happen. The point is, if Trump wins, I don't know if he wins, you will have a mixture of the most horrible ragbag of disaffected, brutal people who would take it upon themselves. And that's awful. That is awful. But my one parting comment is had Trump been murdered last Saturday, that would have been the start of the Second American Civil War. I have no doubt about that. I have no doubt.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Because people have had enough. They've had enough of this. It is shocking.
Just don't understand where the world has gone so wrong. I mean, also, I'd like to know where critical mass is, because the truth is that every single time I think it's as bad as it's going to get, there's always something that sort of tips it over the edge and makes it that little bit worse.
Yes, I agree. How does this happen? How have we got to where we are? And it's no accident. It's no accident. There are people pulling the strings on this who want it, who want this chaos, who want this division. You know, the easiest way to divide a country is to set one side against the other, and they've done it magnificently well. They've done it in Britain. Got that. And you cannot blame the Labour government. They've been in power 2 weeks or something. You can't blame them for this. It's just nonsense. Even if you were the most staunch Conservative or Reform voter or whatever you might be, or, you know, Lib Dem, you can't blame Starmer for this. It's not fair.
Well, I mean, the argument one could make about that. The argument one could make about that is there has been no feasible opposition for the past 13, 14 years. So as much as I recognize you can't say that Labour Party are not the ones who have implemented any law changes that have led to this, you can argue that they haven't exactly fought against it.
No, they haven't. But also, it's no good. People who are conservative say, oh, it's all Labour's fault. This is ridiculous. They had 13, 14 years. What was it? 13 years? 13
years. 2010 to 24, it's 14 years. 2010,
14 years to sort this out. What have they done? The square root of F all.
Yeah.
Nothing. They've done nothing. So that blood lies on the hands of all those gutless politicians from both sides of the House who refused simply to take the knee to some sort of, I don't know what that, ideological nonsense to allow this to happen and not stamp it out, not take control.
I just don't get it. I really don't understand. I mean, have we been that lucky with everything that's gone on in this country that all we've had to whinge about is the whole idea that someone might not be using the right toilet? Is the only thing that we've got that someone maybe is being misgendered? It's just ridiculous.
Well, you know, I've said so many times
out loud. It's just
I've said this so many times till I'm blue in the. I'm not putting your comment up, Graham, because I'm not convinced it's in good taste. I believe this. You know, while the West was worrying about offending some twerp with blue hair who doesn't know if it's Martha or Arthur and misgendering and all this crap, right? The people who oppose the West, China and Russia, just been getting on with grown-up business, taking over the rest of the world, buying up Africa, buying up the natural resources, building superhighways to the mines, all the rest of the stuff. It's been a brilliant distraction. It is like Penn and Teller. It's all misdirection to take the proper grown-ups' attention away. How a tiny minority have managed to do this, I don't know. But in Russia and China, they are rubbing their hands and thinking, who knew it would be this easy? Boy, oh boy, we haven't even fired a shot and they're in bits. They're blowing up their own cities. Jeez, we didn't even have to fire one bullet. It's brilliant. Brilliant.
Honestly, it's just ridiculous. And how I don't understand how people are so stupid. I really, really don't.
If you look at Germany, just for a sec, you see these things never come to Aizen Brown. Personally, I think the issues you're experiencing is the influence of the immigrant influx and the global community. We're no longer a singular governing society. No, because they want world order and all the rest of this crap. You know, I'm a libertarian, and I look at issues that affect the local area. That's how, you know, the country should be governed. What is best for that area? Because the people in the area know best. They know best. It's like local radio, and don't get Phil and I started on what they've done to local radio. They've destroyed it deliberately for money and to get central control coming out of London. And where else do they come out of? Manchester now. That's the BBC. Anyway,
basically.
That's it.
It's kind of it in a nutshell.
It's how did we get here? Well, it's been organized, hasn't it? There's huge billions of dollars being pumped in to these other factions. Billions. It doesn't just happen. You don't suddenly get thousands of tents on campuses across America. It doesn't happen just like that.
I was going to say, where do they get the tents from? Where do they get the propaganda from? Where do they get the information from? Where do they get the I don't. There's so much. There's so much that just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It does make sense if you take a helicopter view of what's going on. It makes perfect sense. It's planned. It's organized. It's not the
well. I tell you how you can tell. I tell you how you can tell a lot of these sort of this pro-Hamas nonsense is organized. Yeah. Is how many times have you seen images depicting these Muppets going on these marches, and they're all holding up the same signs?
Of course,
those signs are being printed somewhere.
So the flags are printed, the placards are printed, the sticks are manufactured. It's all made somewhere.
They're basically just being handed out like sweets.
But they are. People don't arrive with, very few people arrive with handwritten on a cardboard, you know, troops out of Vietnam like it used to be, right? They're arriving with, everything's printed. It's organized. It's organized. And it's just the perfect get out of jail. I mean, seeing that person on top of Marble Arch Tube Station, waving this flag, wave a union flag,
and you get arrested.
Can't do that. So Sadiq Khan, the Muslim mayor of London, which he is, said taxi drivers, that's licensed taxi drivers, I'm not talking about Uber and everybody else, I'm talking about licensed black cab drivers, were not allowed to show the England flag. It would be distracting. But it's fine to have the flag of a foreign nation. That is just, and I'm talking about the England flag during the football. It's just mad.
Or indeed a nation that doesn't exist. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't.
Asia in America says this. It's financially fueled by major organizations and individual donors. I don't know if Phil knows this. Phil will know this. It is ridiculous. You're right. Are you familiar with what happened with Adidas 2 days ago?
I have. How can I put it? I have read it out the corner of my mind. I remember something about some sort of offense caused by something.
This is where we are. No, I'm not making this up. And I had to read it several times from several sources because I thought, this is so despicable. It must be some horrible hoax. But it wasn't. It is a company, you know them for all the trainers, or as Asa would say, sneakers, called Adidas. It's a German company. It was founded by a Nazi. Now, I'm not saying, please don't think I'm saying Germans, and I'm not saying that. I mean, the guy whose name was Adolf, not kidding, literally was a Nazi, the founder of Adidas. A great admirer of the Nazi movement. He found
sounds like a charmer,
an absolute charmer. So he founds this shoe company, Adidas. You will recall at the Munich Olympics that the terrorists went in and didn't just murder the Israeli team. They tortured them, castrated them alive, the rest of it. Complete barbarians as they are, right? Adidas this week bring out the Munich trainer. It's supposed to coincide, of course, with the Paris Olympics, but it's about Munich. They picked the 1 year when an Israeli sports team were massacred by fanatics, tortured and killed. Who do they get to head up the campaign? You would think, well, that's bad enough. No. Who do they get to head up the campaign? Bella Hadid. Bella Hadid, a known anti-Semite, walks around with a keffiyeh and a scarf, does the whole thing, and she is the face of these trainers. Adidas yesterday went, oh, we're sorry, we didn't know. You couldn't make it up. How insulting for a global brand to do that. It's extraordinary.
My. Elizabeth Green, hello from Turkey.
Yeah, she's at a retreat or, getting her teeth done or about a retreat and having her teeth. No, I don't think she's having her teeth done at all. Graham Pack says this. He's quite right, of course. A lot of the printed placards that go Free Palestine and the rest of it say Socialist
Special
Workers
offer.
Party. Special offer with every 4 gallons of Esso. Socialist Workers Party. Yeah, I can't believe they're still going, those lunatics. But anyway, they are. So that's Adidas, which I will never buy that brand again, ever. I think I had one pair that I bought many years ago. I've never bought them since. I will never buy them again, any more than I will ever eat Ben and Jerry's. If it's even offered to me, I won't eat it. Even if I'm in someone's house, I won't eat Ben and Jerry's ice cream. Won't. Blockading works both ways. It's a two-way street. Yeah, but Elizabeth, everybody looks, you just smile, you go, oh, you've been to Turkey, have your teeth done. You know what? It's so unnatural. It's so unnatural. It looks incredible. The teeth are cheap and wonderful. I won't go to Turkey either, by the way.
No,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't. I used to like Turkey.
Yeah,
but not anymore.
Not under him. I absolutely. They won't get a penny of my money, any more than the Maldives would. Why are you going to fund? They hate you, but they want your money. Screw them. Not having it. Not going to get my money. Not a penny of it. I'd rather not go away. I'm not allowed to fly at the moment anyway. No. The best teeth I have seen, and both Chantal and I were at the same wonderful dinner, hosted by Charlie Mullins.
Oh, yes.
And you were there.
I was. Thank you.
You were sitting next to me. You were sitting next to me.
It
was wonderful. It was such a lovely surprise.
Yeah.
It was one of the best evenings I've ever had, actually. It was a fantastic night. And I hate events, as everybody knows. And Charlie Mullins, who I'd never met before. And it took all of my willpower to go, your teeth. What?
Yeah, they are sparkly.
You thought you didn't realize you were wearing your sunglasses when you were on the train and you were already wearing them, right? I needed to get my Ray-Bans out, but I've never seen teeth like it. They were incredible.
No, they are very impressive.
They were incredible. What's an English company, Elizabeth Green? Adidas isn't an English company. What are you talking about? Adidas is a German company. We're talking what is an English company? Or the people?
It's a company based in England.
Oh, thanks for the clarification. Jesus Christ. Thank you for the Now, most important news. Oh, yeah. Graham Pack. Yeah, the Habib family. Bella Habib. Yeah. Piece of work. Absolute piece of work. So, I mean, it's so insulting. They need a Bud Light moment. That's what they need. They need a Bud Light moment. But I don't think people care. But talking of, I don't care if it's an English company, Elizabeth. I get the point. I would not spend one dime in Turkey.
But the truth is, though, Elizabeth, even if you are in it with an English company, there'll still be people in Turkey who benefit from it. Of course,
they're not going to get a penny of my money. Not a cent. They hate us. And it's very interesting, isn't it, about hate? Because the hate is visceral. But you're not allowed.
I would have thought it's exhausting,
It is exhausting.
Hating people that much.
Yeah. I mean, it's like an endless, Well, because you don't work. You got nothing else to do. You're a student, studying hair dye of the Middle Ages and the Renaissance or some shit. You're not doing any actual work, or certainly not in America. Christ. And you're just full of hate, like the people in Leeds. I wonder how many of them are on benefits and working.
I actually do. I do.
Are they all
wonder,
doctors and scientists?
I genuinely do wonder how many of these protests would stop if the benefit system was basically axed. I mean, I wouldn't want to see it axed for those who genuinely need it, but not for those who just can't be bothered to get off the backside.
Well,
just stop it. Stop it. Just don't pay them. I don't want to pay these people to exist. How dare they use taxpayers' money to go to these kind of events, spreading hatred? What the hell? I don't want these people here. If they're just going to be vile, not interested. Don't pay them to live.
Here's the one thing, and this is where the logic falls down, and then it's lovely, 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 lovely Chantal time. If you hate the country where you live so much that you've got to get into a rubber boat and piss off to a country, and then you get here, but you hate this country so much, you want to turn it back into the shithole that you came from in the first place. Where is the logic in that? Where is the logic in that? It's got nothing to do with migration. It's got to do with invasion. That's what it is. Now, let's change the subject. Let's kick up the mood. You can shake your head as much as you like, Chances. That's my view. It's only a matter of time before there's trouble on a huge scale. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her. She is back from a lightning fast trip to Los Angeles, where she managed not to get mugged and not to end up on the streets stoned off her face with fentanyl. Ladies and gentlemen, Chantal Rickards.
Hello. It's lovely to be home.
Hi,
yeah, it must be. It must be great. Let's put you in the middle, a rose between two thoughts. You've changed your hair. It's even more sophisticated.
No, I haven't changed my hair at all. I've changed the background because I'm in Wales, not in England.
Wow. Oh. Okay. That's
Speaking of change the background.
We can't understand a word you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. You're suddenly speaking Welsh.
Look
at that. Oh, that's so sweet.
Very clever. Yeah, I love
it's kind of mad, but it's kind of sweet.
We're on telly now.
How are you? I want to know how you are. I haven't spoken to you for 2 whole weeks.
Yeah, we've missed you. How am I? I'm in the middle of a whole load of medical tests. I'm not allowed to fly, but I feel great. So that's all right. I feel good.
Did you want
and I'm in the complete opposite. I'm not in the middle of a load of medical tests, so I feel rubbish. No, I'm joking. But I...
well,
when I see this background, Phil, it must remind Chantal. It just goes the
Channel 5.
They go, they're here, and then it's creeping me out.
No, it reminds me of Channel 5 signal, which was a bit dodgy to say the very least. Anyway, so
it's Poltergeist, I think that was from, wasn't it?
That was Poltergeist. Yeah, that was Poltergeist. There's one great scene in Poltergeist, and he goes, well, sometimes, we see the slightest millimeter of a movement, and that could be an indication. They open the door, and the whole room is flying. It's just fantastic. You don't expect it. The scientists are like, How was Los Angeles, Chances? How was it?
Well, I was going to say, not much has been going on in America in the last week.
Nothing.
No.
No, it's very, very quiet. Just ask Hulk Hogan how quiet it's been.
God, I haven't seen Hulk Hogan yet, but I will.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, really? Did he sort of raise the roof?
It's just fantastic. No, I've been glued to the convention, and I just want to say something.
He's ever washed that bandana?
Listen, brother, I got to ask you one question.
It's probably got its own ecosystem or something. Yeah.
What you gonna do when the Trumpomaniacs run over you, brother? It's the most fabulous speech. Yesterday, last night, they brought on a speaker. It was one of the best. This is not a political statement, all right? This was a young black preacher who is from a very small church, not one of these glass spectacular, Brent Cross style things, and they're running around in, Gulf Streams. I'm talking about a small church in Detroit, in a really bad, Detroit, Jesus. It's not the greatest place to be. And he came on the stage, and I thought, well, okay, this is going to be interesting. It was, in my humble opinion, one of the best pieces of communication I have ever witnessed. The guy, I was riveted. He's a young guy, enthusiastic preacher.
And what was his shtick, as it were?
His thing was that there he is, and it's Trump's birthday, and Trump goes to this little tiny, mainly black church just to meet this guy. And there's no big cameras, there's no big hoo-ha about it. And he says and he said, what do you think a man like this, a billionaire, wanted for his birthday? He said, he just wanted to pray with me. But the way he spoke, I was captivated by it, irrespective of which side of the political fence you sit. As a student of communication, it was incredible. See if you can find it.
I will find
it. Isn't that the sign, though, of someone who is a genuine preacher? Someone who can captivate an audience.
Amazing.
So. Yeah.
You know, I'm not a religious person at all. Spiritual maybe, but religious, no. And so a lot of the stuff that he was saying, I would normally go, oh, please, please. But it was so, you were swept away with this young man's enthusiasm. He's not looking at notes. He's not looking at a teleprompter. His eloquence. It was just sensational.
Okay. And what was he there to say? Was he there to...
He was there to say, look, I just want you to know the real Donald Trump. And this is a guy, he didn't have to come to my church. He could have gone anywhere. He could have been playing golf. He didn't come with a whole hoo-ha. There's been some amazing moments in the convention. Absolutely. I don't know if you saw Trump yesterday. The man who got killed.
Yeah.
By that piece of crap on the roof. Sloping roof. Sloping roof. So you can't go there because it's sloping, obviously. Unless you're 20. He had his uniform on the stage with him.
Oh, my word.
And he went over to it and he kissed it. And the place went wild because it was, you could say that's revolting showbiz, or you could say that is a wonderful symbol of what that man died. He was murdered. But to have his actual uniform on a tailor's dummy on the stage was so evocative.
Yeah. And you don't think that's showbiz?
I'm saying no. I'm saying, of course, it's several things, Chantal. And I agree. Of course, you could say, well, that's just gross. You know, that's.
I was going to say, if I'm honest, it makes me think of poor taste, but whatever.
But not for the family. Not for the family of the man who was murdered, who see in front of tens of millions of people that their father, their husband, is being remembered. Well,
yes, but the flip side of that, just to be a tiny bit argumentative, is that instead of playing golf the day afterwards, Donald Trump should have gone to see the family, or could have gone to see the family, but went off to play golf instead. I rest my case, because otherwise you and I are going to be here for the next half an hour doing ping pong with Donald Trump.
Look, let's be honest, nobody is perfect at all. Everybody, I'm not saying he's a nice guy. But the alternative, holy moly.
Oh, don't. It's so sad. Honestly, the whole thing is terrible.
Have you ever looked? You've lived in America. I've lived in America. Have you ever looked into the background of Kamala Harris? You ever looked into her background?
She was a prosecutor or a public.
Oh, I wonder where you were going to go with that. It was so close. What did you say? A prosecutor. Okay.
Okay. I don't know. You're suggesting that you know something I don't, so I can't.
It's not me who knows it. It's like, it's out there. You all got to do is look.
Okay.
You got to do is take the blinkers off. What have you seen? Please tell us something lovely that you've seen.
Well, actually, I've caught up with quite a lot. I downloaded a lot for the plane, which was lovely because, when
you do that, I've heard you say that. But what do you do? Do you download it on your phone or iPad and then you can watch it on the plane? Is that the deal?
No, basically. I downloaded it on my iPad. I had a couple of backups on my phone in case my iPad ran out of power and I suddenly found myself on a plane without a cable being provided. And then in fact I bought a new iPad Air in Los Angeles, the lovely Apple shop in the Grove, and so I then had to download some more stuff very quickly at the
you went to the Grove?
Yes, I did go to the Grove.
Yeah. Love the Grove.
And if you buy any Apple products, it's dollars for pounds at the moment. So now's the time to buy it in America.
Yeah. Oh man, I love the Grove.
Yeah, I know.
We should explain what the Grove is. It's just a beautiful area in LA, for God's sake, LA, where there's also a farmer's market, but it's just got all these shops and cafes and restaurants. It's just it's terrific there. I love it.
Small shopping centre sort of built in a Spanish style.
It's beautiful.
And and you can normally see a few well-known people trundling around the Grove on a Saturday.
I never know who they are. What you do is you see some huge bodyguard, like 28 feet tall, and some tiny little girl being, obviously some famous singer. And I think, I don't know who the hell that is. And everyone's oohing and ahhing, and I'm just minding my own business because it's irrelevant. I have no clue.
Well, I tell you what I did watch being in America. It made me, everybody seemed to be talking about Netflix this week.
Yeah.
And it's only because there is a documentary that I hate myself for watching. Honestly, I feel embarrassed by the fact.
It's not the Phil Dave story, is it?
No, it's not.
How dare you?
It's the story of the Dallas cheerleaders.
Now I understand.
Now you got my attention. Tell us all about it. Any visual clues here?
Yeah, lots of visual clues.
Thank God.
It's on Netflix. It's I think it's a 7-part documentary. It doesn't pose lots of questions. I quite like investigative documentaries where
there's nothing to investigate. They're really hot. They dance. That's kind of it.
They're really hot. They dance. It's basically
there you go.
Yeah. Brand film that goes on for about 7 episodes, and everything in the world is rosy, lovely. Everybody calls each other ma'am. There's lots of high-fiving. There's lots of crying. There's lots of hugging. There's and there's lots of flesh, which of course, is what it's all about. For those,
do you think
the Dallas Cowboys is the richest football team on the planet? They're worth $4 billion. And the cheerleaders actually sort of happened by mistake as the phenomenon that it became when a cameraman I think in the early 70s happened to be focused on the local little community dancers who came out before a match. And one of the sexy girls turned around to the camera and winked. And everybody suddenly went, hang on a second, there's more to these girls than meets the eye. And then they became nearly as famous as the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they are a phenomenon in their own right. They normally have 35 women each year who come along and do these crazy dances and the extraordinary splits, which I'm sure you can bring up in your own imagination.
I'm already there.
They shouldn't be doing the splits because actually part of the program tells you about how many hip dislocations they've had and the fact that their hips will be destroyed forever because they keep bouncing down with
they bounce. Joking aside, they bounce really hard. They don't do it slowly. They kind of leap up, bang, do the splits and boom, straight on the ground. Ow.
Absolutely terrifying. It is completely terrifying. But sadly, I got sucked into this on Netflix.
Oh, it's great. I think I saw something very similar because I saw all the audition.
No, we won't dwell on that. No.
Well, of course it is.
Debbie does. Not Debbie does, Dallas. I'm talking about the Dallas cheerleading.
No, there has been a documentary series, a sort of ongoing TV series that's been done it was done between, I think, about 2009 and...
Oh, yeah, that's the other one I saw.
But this is a documentary series. It's made by One Potato, Two Potato. Can you guess who the man behind it is? Who owns One Potato, Two Potato?
I can.
Is it the guy who founded Fudge You Like?
It's Captain Birdseye.
No, it's Gordon Ramsay.
Oh.
Is he really?
Yes, it's Gordon Ramsay's production company. I think with another production company, but One Potato, Two Potato, which is the name of his own production company.
That's hilarious.
It's very well produced. It isn't massively challenging for anybody.
Good. Thank God for that. That's good.
Easy on the eye for anybody who wants to see a pretty girl in not very many clothes, and most of which are very tight.
Awful. I think that's shocking.
But the insight into the lives of these women, and they give up their lives. They earn nothing. They earn less than somebody who's a full-time worker in McDonald's.
Really?
Which is sort of incredible, because the football players, clearly that's a whole different thing, but the football players are on millions and millions of dollars. And these kids are on about $40,000 a year, which, doesn't seem quite fair when they are athletes actually in their own right. But it's their
merchandise revenue, because the merchandise, joking aside, from the Dallas Cowgirls is enormous, with calendars and all sorts of posters and God knows what. It's huge.
But the competition itself, it is a reality competition, and that's basically, they focus very much on, are they going to get back into the team? Are they going to get onto the team for the first time? Are they going to perform? What's it going to be like on the first night? So they write in all the jeopardy and all the obvious places, but it's highly watchable. It's very well made. If it's your sort of thing, you'll get it, you'll enjoy it. And if you are not into that sort of thing, simply don't turn the telly on.
Precisely.
I might do the latter.
Phil, it's not your thing.
I don't. Well, it doesn't sound like it completely. I don't know.
Why isn't it your thing, Phil?
I don't know. It just doesn't sound like the kind of stimulating.
With a horrible, grim, ugly world about to break into civil war, I think watching attractive people just do stuff is pretty good.
If I want to watch attractive people jumping all over the place, I'll stand in front of my mirror and do star jumps. It's fine.
Well, you could. Obviously, I can't. You're a young rooster dooster, a man about town.
Yeah. No, I have to say, Phil, they are vain, they are inane, and they are insane.
So maybe I will get on with them then.
This sounds like perfect date material to me.
I'm going to say, vain, you're writing my
insane, and stupid. This is great.
Indeed. Yes, the level of education is quite something. There is one perfect sequence in episode 2 where one of the girls is talking about a girl from New Jersey. Right. And she's a Southern girl talking about a girl from New Jersey, and she rails on about plastic bags, because apparently in the South you're still allowed plastic bags, but she finds out that New Jersey, they've banned plastic bags allegedly, and that one of the poor contestants has to carry her things around in her hands because she hasn't got a plastic bag. I mean, honestly, I was screaming with laughter at this particular sequence, but there we are. You take it as you find it.
It's just great.
It's absolute madness. But clearly recycling hasn't come to Texas.
It's interesting. Did you see this week? Because the lunatic governor of California.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom.
Gavin bloody Nuisance, I think, as I call him. Gavin Nuisance has passed a bill whereby teachers do not have to inform the parents of the children in their schools if the children in the schools suddenly want to have sex changes and everything else. The teachers are under no obligation to tell the parents. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, right? So Elon Musk has said to himself, that's it. That's the final straw. We're leaving California. We're moving the whole of it to Texas. Bye-bye.
Really?
He said, I've had enough of this crap. And everyone goes, good on you. Good on you. That's how you feel. Good for you.
I mean, even when I was there, I was paying 55% tax. And of course, there's no tax in Texas. So there may be a clue there somewhere.
There is a clue. Absolutely a clue there. And Texas still feels like America. And God knows. Oh, well, anyway, there we go.
Anyway.
What's next that you've come across?
I'm going to give you a Scandinoir, because we haven't had a good Scandinoir for a few weeks.
No, we have not.
No, we haven't done. There's one on Channel 4. It's very easily downloadable for one summer holiday, called The Summerdale Murders. Nice new character who is a lovely copper who is probably in his 50s. And the opening scene is he's celebrating his 25th wedding anniversary with his wife, who works in the forensics team. And this relationship allegedly is perfect.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You know that something's going to go horribly wrong right from the get-go, especially because one of the other coppers comes along in the middle of the 25th wedding anniversary and says, there's a dead body down on the shoreline. Come with me. So the copper just walks out on his wedding party.
As you do. As you do.
And goes off to sort out a dead body.
Right.
Anyway.
I mean, normal people go and find seashells, but whatever.
It's always on a moody beach, isn't it? It's always on a moody beach.
Yeah. Although actually bits of the Denmark coastline look absolutely glorious, but I don't know Denmark at all. But it certainly made me want to get on a plane and go to Denmark at some stage. Anyway, the story is good. The woman, the dead body, a woman, is found, and they realize very quickly that she has just given birth. And of course, you go, okay, so is a child missing as well as a dead mother? And therein lies the tale. They're good in that there are what they call 3 series, but they're basically 3 double-length episodes. So you can do, each night you could do one double episode.
Oh, so what? They're like an hour and a half or something?
Yeah, exactly. But I really like the characters. The story's very good. It holds up. It's not brilliant, but it's good. And I think the acting is nicely done, and it's rather well filmed. So it's called The Summerdal Murders, and there are 3 double-length episodes sitting on Channel 4 at the moment. And obviously it's subtitled, but, I think we're all used to subtitles.
It's okay. Phil speaks fluent Danish.
I speak
fluent.
I'm good at going Dutch. I don't know if I speak fluent Danish.
And I go, Phil, the tap water in the restaurant's free. Calm down.
No.
And then he has to relax a little bit. I was going to ask you a question. Back in the sort of 80s, early 90s, there were loads of really cracking good mystery films or courtroom dramas and all those sort of movies, right? Just disappeared. I can't find any. I have to go to sort of German films and, like you say, Scandinavian stuff and Spanish as well, and South American to get a good kind of mystery. What the hell's going on?
Well, unless you want to fork out £4.99 for Apple, as I've told you to do, because Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal, which I mentioned about 3 weeks ago, is really good. And I think I've watched 6 episodes. There's 1 more to go, and it's absolutely gripped me all the way through. And that's based on the Harrison Ford movie from the 1990s. It's excellent. It's a really good courtroom drama.
They had loads of those, didn't they? Runaway Jew. They had all those John Grisham.
They did. All the John Grisham books, of course, because he was
a
lawyer, I think.
That made.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. It's just so unwatchable.
Yeah.
It's so unwatchable. What else has come across your
do you remember? Phil is way too young to remember this. I mean, but his television knowledge is so good he'll know the reference immediately. Do you remember Eddie Shoestring?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Trevor Eve.
Trevor Eve, Eddie Shoestring.
Michael Medwin as his boss.
Oh, yes. God, well remembered.
Thank you.
Well, he played the character of a nighttime DJ who is a sort of cross between
Kid Jensen.
Yeah, well,
Graham Dean, Kid Jensen, and Sherlock Holmes.
Well, that's not bad. Well, there's always a mystery. There's always a murder. There's always something going on. But Channel 5...
If he was a combination of David Hamilton, does that mean that he was all clued up?
Oh, very good. He was all clued up.
That's
but actually,
very, very good.
Nighttime radio like that was really just in its early days. It was quite a strange idea that you would have this voice at the end of the phone when there were people, out working or some people at home in the middle of the night who wanted somebody who was more of a friend than anything else. Very sort of interesting idea. The whole
very intimate too. Very intimate.
So Channel
second highest rated show on talk radio, Petri Hoskin, the nighttime show, second highest rated.
Is that right?
Yes,
how interesting.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah. Well, I know when I worked on the James Well radio show television version, that we used to get the highest nighttime audience of any show on television at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it was phenomenal. We used to get more than a lot of daytime shows.
And as does Petri, as do a lot of people, because you've already mentioned why. It's your friend in the middle of the night. Your friend is there talking just to you. It's a wonderful relationship.
It is. And that's basically the sort of conceit behind a new drama that's on Channel 5 called The Night Caller. And
that sounds very different, but it sounds much more like Channel 5's answer.
Yeah, it is Channel 5's answer. But it's with Sean Pertwee, who is son of the famous actor John
Pertwee. Oh my goodness me! Wow.
Well, we like Sean Pertwee. He doesn't look. You're thinking he must look young. No, he looks like Sean Pertwee.
No, he looks like Sean Pertwee, but he still has that incredible, deep, luscious voice.
Terrific actor, Sean.
Yeah, and he plays the DJ character. I mean, I don't think, but the presenter character, and he has lots of listeners, including a cabbie. Who is a disgruntled cabbie who had been a teacher for 27 years. We don't know why he got sacked, but he did. And life really is not going according to plan. And he listens to this guy on the radio who basically is he incites him to go rogue.
Oh.
To get his own back on life. So there's a bit of that Michael Douglas film called
Falling Down.
Falling Down. There's a little bit of revenge is engendered through this relationship with the guy on the radio and the cabbie listening at night in Liverpool. And it gets really dark. I mean, surprisingly dark. It's a very powerful drama. It's definitely worth watching. Sean Pertwee, I could watch all the time. It's not a lot of movement in it, as you can imagine, because he sits at a desk throughout the whole thing. But actually, it's well written. I mean, I'm enjoying it. And Channel 5 have been playing more and more money into dramas, and I think this is something that they should be proud of, because it's well made and it's cleverly written. And
the first of those. Sorry, the first of that genre. I'm going to stick my neck out here. Was Play Misty for me with Clint Eastwood. I think about it. When he plays a late night DJ on the Californian coast, driving an XK 150, which was all I really remember. And this woman becomes obsessed with him, and you can imagine how it works out. Doesn't work out well. Fabulous film. Yeah, fabulous film.
This is interesting, but this is not one to watch in bed late at night, because it is actually quite dark. And I think the next episode I'm going to watch in the middle of the daytime and feel slightly less discombobulated than I did. No, it is. It's troublesome, and it's challenging as well. In many ways, it's challenging, because it does ask you, what do you do with pent-up rage, and how do you get rid of it?
Hello, I don't know.
I've got a rough idea.
I don't know.
No,
it affects me badly. I know that. I'm very honest about it. I've always been honest in broadcasting, and everything that's going on in the world. I'm like, what do I do about this? I'm just one person. I feel powerless, and it really eats you up. It's horrible.
No, but you're not at all powerless, Russ.
Because I am powerless.
No, you've got a voice and you use it, and that's incredibly important.
Well, I must have done something, because I did a tweet today, and a lady came back and told me to.
Yes.
Well, the second word was off. I don't know who it is. A complete stranger. A complete stranger.
Oh, okay.
I reposted the Leeds riot footage to JD Vance, the new vice president.
Yes.
I said, I'll leave it there, right? And this woman just went berserk at me.
Oh dear. No,
it's fine. It's a stranger. I'm not going to get upset by a stranger.
No, well, in that case, that's fine. Park it.
Of course. But it's like, wow. Are you not? It's like, are you not seeing what I'm seeing? What do you think this is? This is insurrection. This is burning, rioting, police cars being turned up. That's okay with you? How can that be okay?
People are very strange.
Yeah, life is very tricky at the moment, and interpretation is everything, and people see what they want to see. So, I mean, America could not be divided any more than it currently is, with two people who live in the same country.
Never say never.
No, but they are
honestly. When I think it can't get any weirder, it goes weirder.
It gets weirder.
Chantal,
before we get back to TV, Phil's going to have to go in a second.
I was going to say, I'm afraid I must trot off.
No, you go and do. I know you've got a ridiculous schedule.
I must away, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you both.
Bless you. Bless
Until
you,
we
Phil.
meet again.
Don't know where, don't know when.
Yes.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye. Love Phil. Love Phil.
I
do. I miss him. He's so.
Thanks. I love me too.
I don't love him that much. How do you think this? Look, you've lived in America. I've lived in America. Okay.
Yeah.
Come November the 5th. This is not. I know this isn't why you're here. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot at all. But my fear is if the Donald wins, if he wins, this is not a political statement. This is just an observation.
Yeah.
If he wins, I think that the losing side will burn America to the ground.
No, I heard you saying that earlier, and I actually
your view.
I'm not worried about that because it's a tinderbox at the moment.
It is.
I mean, they shoot as many of the other side as each other. So I don't think it's just that the Democrats are going to go loopy-loo. I think everybody's going to go loopy-loo. It's
not the Dems. It's not people with a political view are going to start burning and looting and going insane. It's all the people who, like Velcro, suddenly think this is a handy umbrella under which to shield. It's not rational people who are going to do that. They're going to be very upset and annoyed, but they're not going to, Kamala Harris isn't going to get an AK-47 and start shooting people.
No, but they are divided down political lines. They are divided down religious lines. They are divided down poverty and wealth lines. I mean, the divisions are really, really huge. That's the problem. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but I am very fearful. Like you, I am fearful. So
because I think, and if the Republicans lose, of course they're armed to the teeth. God only knows what will happen with that. It's very scary because I always say when America sneezes, Britain catches a cold, and that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, they are a country where political uprisings and violence in politics is something that they've known in the last 50, 60 years. This has been going on
since Abraham Lincoln, of course.
Indeed.
Let's not forget that.
But we had the Kennedy brothers and Martin Luther King in the 60s, and then Ronald Reagan, who clearly wasn't a Democrat, in the 80s, and so actually there's just a lot of awfulness and dissent. That's the terrible thing about it. They are not very harmonious people.
And the other thing that I hadn't appreciated, and it's my ignorance, watching the convention, is how much the word God is invoked, how much Jesus is invoked, and how much religion, what I would call old school religion, if I may be so bold. I'm trying to be careful. Old school religion plays a huge part. These are deeply religious people as well.
Yeah. That is the rise of the Christian right. We've talked about it before. That's not going away anytime soon. And that's where they should never have allowed politics and Christianity to form this weird alliance, because actually they shouldn't really have anything to do with each other in a country that said they did not want to be religious. They did, they wanted to have freedom from that. And actually they got themselves in a terrible muddle.
It is. But if you have another faction that is intent on domination, that put it under the banner of religion, there's going to be a counter reaction. This is the problem. It gets more and more extreme until there is no middle ground on this.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. This is what's so I worry about it. People go, well, you can't do anything about it. I know I can't do anything about it, but I'm watching a train crash in slow motion, and I want to be screaming to the drivers and the passengers, get out. I guess that's just trying to be human. That's all there is to it. Enjoy Wales.
I will. It'll be lovely. I'll still be here next Friday, so I'll be back on Friday with some more stuff that I've watched over my holidays.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be looking at both of those things, especially the I know you think I'm going to be looking at Dallas. No, I actually be looking at the Scandi Noir thing. That looks great.
No, it is. It's a nice series. Good. Enjoy.
Thank you as ever. Thank you. Chantal Rickards coming live from Wales. And that, folks, watching too much American stuff. That's it for another week. It's been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a ride. Wow. It's been exciting. I hope the weather stays nice for the weekend. Try and have a lovely weekend. I will be back on Monday and I'll be back on Wednesday as well. Until then, stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.